And I just want to note that in the business overview, you see that we have the profit and loss by customer, by month, by tags, and the profit and loss comparison. We're going to make a kind of profit and loss comparison, which will make this report kind of obsolete because you can do it yourself, make your own customization similarly with most of these profit and loss reports. So QuickBooks is trying to add them as already customized reports, which has its pros and cons, because the pros are, if you don't know how to make the reports, you can get these formatted reports here, but the cons are it makes it look like there are way more reports than there really are, because these are really variants that we can construct from a general profit and loss, which we will do now. So let's go back up to the profit and loss again, right click and open another link in a new tab. We'll tab to the right and close the hamburger. Now, as you work on the profit and loss, they might have converted the information in the report solely to 2025, because that's what they're going to do over time. They only have a little bit of data, actually a few months in their practice file, and they update it each time. So we're kind of in the middle right now between them having the data in 2024 and 2025. So on the profit and loss, like with the balance sheet, we could do a comparative report a few different ways. One is that we might want to have, say, more than one period, more than 1 month, more than 1 year, more than 1 quarter, in which case we can usually have the oldest one first, and then it's going to go towards the newest period on the right. And then with the profit and loss report, we can total them up, which is different than we saw with the standard balance sheet report. Or we can look at a profit and loss report that only has 2 periods, and instead of adding the 2 periods to get the total profit and loss from those 2 periods, we can subtract them, looking at the performance difference between 1 month and another 1 month, 1 quarter compared to another quarter, 1 year compared to another year. So let's first look at it let's first look at like months, for example, and I'm going to do it for the end of 2024 because that's where the current data is at. So let's go from like 10/01/24 tab to 12/31/24. That's not a 12, that's a 13. 12/31/24. So that's going to give us the last quarter, but instead of looking at it by total, I'm going to look at it by months in the dropdown. Let's run it. So now you can see what happens. We get October, November, and December, and then a total column. Let me just give a quick recap of what happens on the balance sheet when we do that. Let's go to the balance sheet over here, and I'll change the same range from 10/01/24 to 12/31/24, selecting the drop down to see it in months, and run it, and you get October, November, December, but no total. Why? Because the balance sheet is as of a point in time. So it's going to give you where we stand as of the end of each of the months. October, 31st, November 30th, December 31st. Whereas when we look at the profit and loss report, we're looking at a period. So it's giving us a range of information, because the profit and loss report, we can compare to like resetting the odometer in a car to see how far we're going to drive in a day. That means I need the beginning date. So this is going from the 1st of October through the 31st of October. This is going from the 1st of November to the 30th of November, the 1st of December through the 30th of December. And then it makes sense to add the total column, because why not? Because we should also then measure the full quarter. The full quarter would be October 1st through December 31st, which gives me the totals on the right-hand side. So the performance reports, therefore, are formatted a little bit differently in that way. All right, so then we can do that same thing for quarters. If I wanted to look at the 4 quarters, I would make the range, for example, 01/01/24 to 12/31/24, and then select quarters, looking at it by quarter. And so now we've got the 4 quarters. We only have data, like I say, in the last couple quarters of the period, and then we've got the total, which is the year-to-date information. We can also go through years. If I want to look at the last 3 years, there's not going to be any information in a few of them, but let's go from 01/01 23 to 12/31/25 this time, 3-year period, and then look at it in terms of years, run it. So now we've got the 3-year, nothing was in the first year, second year, and then the total over the 3-year period, which is kind of neat. Okay,